Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. If you are here for the first time, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of entertainment. If you are here for a second or third time, then welcome back. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. If y'all like anything about this content, then please do not hesitate to like the video, y'all. Y'all gotta like the video for me, okay? I love all of your support, but I need you to like the videos. If you like this content, like, comment, subscribe. Child, let's get into it. Y'all know they always hit us with a last season on Tyler Perry's Sistas. Honey, they gave us the rundown. The girl's trying to tell Andy she needs to go on about her business. We see the girls walking through the grocery store because they're getting ready to cook. And then we see Fatima and Zac. They run into each other. Now his whole spot is blown up, okay? He could have been over there doing something good with Fatima, but he back over here messing with Karen. Honey, the name alone should have told you to leave her alone, okay? Then we see Danny with Cowboy, a.k.a. Preston, and, you know, they trying to figure out what they doing, honey, because his family is a racist bunch of hicks, and they always threatening her with something that they shouldn't be threatening her with, right? Then we see Andy, and she's in bed. Oh, child. And Jasmine is standing over her with a gun. Let's get into it. So Jasmine standing over Andy with a gun. Child, Jasmine is not playing with her. That man left her a long time ago and she's still acting a fool. So she's like, beg for your life. She's like, oh, I'm begging. Oh. Andy, shut up, okay? Because you know what? You shouldn't be messing with that woman's husband. Second of all, they have told you over and over and over and over again to leave that man alone. It's always one girl in the girlfriend group that acts a fool. Now, y'all know Jasmine had already shot him and he was laying on the bathroom floor, right? So now she's bad acting, standing over Andy, talking about, you're in bed with him. I bought him those boxer briefs. And she's like, shut up, beg for your life. You want to help him? Oh, that's funny. He didn't want to help me. Jasmine's like, listen to me. Don't you dare. I'm like, oh my God, child, this is a mess. So then she starts going on talking about, yeah, I had an affair. Girl, what? Child, okay, so basically y'all cheating on each other, playing tit for tat, or whatever y'all doing, child, it's a mess. She's like, but he's my husband. So Andy gets up and fights this woman with a gun. Okay, Tyler Perry, honey, now I'm not about to play with you. I'm not about to play with you. Gets up and fights this woman with a gun and realizes that the gun is locked and loaded, right? Not loaded, but the gun is locked. So it's jammed. Whereas she ain't finna get shot up, okay? So then when she notices that, she gets up and hits her over the head with the laptop. This is so unrealistic. Child, you are not about to wrestle this woman to the ground with a gun so you can save your man. Are you on some type of prescription medication? All the while they were arguing before she hit her over the head, Jasmine's like, yeah, I gave him my life. I did a couple of little bad things, but who cares? He's my husband. And so she's like, say sorry. And so Andy is like kind of begging and everything. And then she's talking about the ring and how the ring is bigger than hers. And they're really just going back and forth, right? So after she hits her over the head with the laptop, now Jasmine is completely out. So then she runs out to get help, right? And as soon as she opened the door, tell me why the police there. I said, okay. Now, had this been a real scenario, child, she would have had to run down the hall, knock on some stranger's door, ask them could she use their phone, call 911, even though her cell phone is right in there, but her nerves are bad and she's trying to get out of the apartment. She would have called the cops. The cops would have took 40 days and 40 nights, and then they would have came. But, of course, you know, Tyler got them waiting at the door and whatnot. Child, I'm like, oh, my goodness. So she opens up the door, and the cops are there, and she's like, she's in there. She's in there. And they're like, ma'am, put your hands up. Because, honey, they don't know who's who and who fighting and who killing. They're a little bit confused themselves. So they secure her. They sit her down. And once they do that, they go into the room where he is, right? So she's like, my fiance is in there. And he needs an ambulance right now. He needs help. They're like, listen, ma'am, calm down. Stay here. And so they went in the restroom and tried to see what I was doing over there, right? In the next scene, Sabrina over there arguing with Jacoby to get out of her house. I'm like, honey. See, this is why I do not let men know where I stay. Because first of all, you never know, they could be crazy. And second of all, men don't like to leave when you tell them to leave. And that kind of stuff scares me. I'm not going to sit up and play with you. If I ask you to exit stage left, I'm going to need you to exit the perimeter. But honey, they be wanting to stay. So she's like, I think you should leave. He's like, what? Because of old boy? She's like, look, He's like, come on, Sabrina, don't do this. We were just, we were mid. Boy, get out. She doesn't want it, okay? She really loves Calvin, but she's so confused because he was wearing those little panties and whatnot, okay? So she's trying to tell him, listen, you need to leave. And he's like, come on, don't act like you don't want to finish. Come here. She was like, listen, I want you to leave. That's all I want you to do. I really need you to leave. Girl, you better hit him over the head with a frying pan or something. I'll be like, you know what? Let me just get myself together. I'm going to go into the restroom. I'll be right back. Child, I get the hottest water I can find. Fill something up with it. Go in there and douse him real good, honey. You would have to get out of there. Child, please. So she over there arguing with him, and he doesn't want to leave because they were just getting into it as they were getting into it. And she was like, listen, just put your clothes on. Like, do you need help? Like, I don't want to get too close to that because that's really large. Now, listen to me. Listen, Sabrina, honey, I can't say that you didn't make the right decision by sitting on it for like 5 minutes, okay? But you really love Calvin. So, girl, go on be with Calvin, honey, and quit playing these games. Child, your storyline is being dragged out for no apparent reason. Over on the next scene, we see Danni and Cowboy laying in the tub. She's laying with her man, and the phone is ringing, right? So the phone ringing from every different conceivable angle. And Preston's like, don't you think you need to answer that? And she's like, what is that? No, I don't need to answer that. They'll call me back. And so then the house phone starts ringing. She's like, why is that house phone ringing? I haven't paid a house phone bill in years, so this is like a miracle. Danni is trifling. She was like, it could be Jesus calling me while we're fornicating in the tub. Danni, shut up. Anyway, child, when they were in that tub, I was thinking, I bet that water cold and disgusting. Child, you can't sit in the tub for too long. It's not a hot tub, girl. It's a bathtub. You put water in there and you bathe. You don't sit in there and just chill in some water, honey, with y'all bodies. Ooh, that just was gross to me. Anyway, she ignores it, but then she finally answers, and it's Sabrina, child. So Sabrina called to tell Danni what happened, but you know that Danni is not trying to pay her no attention, especially when she high, number one. And number two, she got a man finally. She not finna play those games with Sabrina. And Sabrina always calling 911 in an emergency. Girl, choose Calvin and get this ingrate out of the house, child. So anyway, she calls and she's like, are you dead? She's like, I'm barely alive. I really need your help. She was like, a crazy thing just happened to me. So Danni was like, what happened? She said there was a knock at the door and I definitely thought it was you. But girl, I opened the door and it was Calvin. Let me tell y'all something. Honey, I've been in that type of situation before. Child, one was in and one was trying to come in. And I didn't know the two were going to meet. And it was like an ex. And that's why I said to myself, this was my early 20s. And I said I would never do that again. Because men just come and pop up whenever they feel like it. But then when we pop up, now we crazy. And you got to call 911. Boy, goodbye. So Sabrina called Danni and told her what happened with Calvin and Jacoby, right? So Danni was like, listen, I will call you tomorrow. Child, what a friend. Danni would piss me off, okay? How you gonna ditch me? And then when you need me, I'm there. Because we all know Sabrina is there for them all. Danni would really get on my nerves. On the other side, Andy is still in there with the police explaining what happened. And she keeps asking, is he okay? He should be at the hospital. Like, is he okay? Girl, I don't know. Tyler Perry probably gonna make it like he had a bulletproof skin on or something, honey. Tyler be doing all kinds of stuff. Because I'm just trying to figure out how the ambulance came and they're in there acting like they're giving him some stitches instead of actually taking him to the hospital after he's been shot. I don't know if she just grazed his shoulder or what happened, but it looks like she shot him square on to me, so I'm a little bit confused. He was like, can you explain to me what happened? She said, listen, we were going to bed and then she broke in and then she shot him and then she turned the gun on me. So the officer was like, were y'all having an affair? She was like, no. Well, not technically now, honey. Not now y'all not having an affair, but y'all were indeed having an affair, honey. Let us not forget that. She was like, they were divorced. So she's screaming and they haven't even taken him to the hospital. And she wants to know, why is he not being taken? Okay. Over at Karen's house, child. Ooh, child. Now y'all get into this. So over at Karen's house, Zac shows up, right? And he shows up with like $5,000. So she was like, well, what is this? And he was like, it's what I owe you, right? So she's like, Zac, he's like, I'm not taking it back. She was like, oh, I'm not about to give it back. He was like, I'm bringing this over here. This is your $5,000 because you thought I did this whole credit card thing when you should know me and you should know that I didn't do that. So she was like, yeah, I found out from the bank that it wasn't you. Karen is ridiculous. And I did not like how she did him last season when she had his grandmother's, I think it was his grandmother or his grandfather's like belongings, and she just left them all willy-nilly at the airport. Listen, it's one thing to be upset, but one thing about me, I'm never going to do something I can never take back. That's something huge for me. Like sometimes you can take things so far that you can't reverse them. Even though this is scripted, I was like, I've been slept out of Karen, okay? So anyway, he was like, listen, I didn't do it. So she said, I know it wasn't you because I got some confirmation from the bank. He was like, well, you should have known I wouldn't do that anyway. So then he said, listen, this is for you. I owe you over $77,000. She's like, what are you talking about? He said, I'm good with math. All the dinners, the staying and the rent and everything else and taking me to and fro. So just take the money. And it's more than that, where that came from, right? So Karen asked, how long you been seeing her? Girl, why? You didn't want him, remember? You did not want him. Child, she was like, you don't think I have the right to know? No, you don't have the right to know. You literally beat this man down every time you saw him. Now, don't get me wrong. Zac was for the streets, okay? He was dipping and doing what he shouldn't have been dipping and doing. And he was not taking care of his responsibility as far as, his finances were concerned. But he was trying, okay? And as far as I saw, as far as the previous seasons were concerned, I didn't see him cheating on her. So I guess she was just holding this resentment and treating him any old kind of way, right? So he don't want to answer no questions, but you didn't want him, girl, so you shouldn't be worried. So she was like, don't act like we wasn't just effing, right? We just wasn't screwing. He said, yeah, we were, and that's all it was. Damn, Zac. Let me tell you something. Zac is my favorite character on here. Zac, and I'm slowly starting to like Fatima. But yeah, Zac is my boo. Honey, and let me tell you something. Duvall and his family got their little family Instagram and their family YouTube and everything. And I be looking at, child. He's so good looking to me. Do y'all hear me? And I'm just thinking, if I had such a nice family like he does, and the wife and the kids, and we dipping and doing, honey, there ain't no way I would let my man act in here with all these sex scenes, and baby, he be acting like he really getting into it as he getting into it, and me imagining him with another woman. Oh no, honey, I'm not that mature yet. Oh no, ma'am. So he was like, that's all it was. Well, Karen, all you did was belittle him. So, of course, you better go get choir boy. Anyway, so this is my thing. She's so used to Zac begging her. Baby, her mouth was wide open. Honey, close it up, sweetie. Over on the other side, Danni over there in her helmet of salvation in bed with her man, but then she sneaks out so she can call Sabrina back. Girl, glad to hear from you. Y'all gonna call me back in the middle of the night? But Sabrina was right there waiting to answer. So she's like, thank you for calling me back. She's like, okay, girl, just tell me what's going on. But honey, Danni is high, so she can't really articulate a thought or even get herself together to even help Sabrina. So what was the point in you calling back? Okay. So she's like, well, I'm going to call you when you're not high. She's like, oh, okay, well, then you're going to call me 12 past never because I'm going to smoke. Okay, this is what I do. Girl gone, honey. Danni one of those friends that gets a man and then cuts everybody off. Child, we all got one. Sabrina is asking her for advice, right? Danni ain't no help, but we already knew she wouldn't be. Zac goes back to Fatima's house, right, with his key. So she got his bags packed. She's like, there, they're your bags over there. You can get them and go. So he thinking he finna just traipse back up in here after he had a little tryst in the afternoon with Karen. But baby, Fatima ain't about that life. One thing I do like about her character, she's staying strong. Now, I know she wants to break a little bit later in the episode, but for right now, she's standing strong, okay? So Zac goes back to Fatima's house, right, with his key. And, he opened the door, come on in. She's like, your bag's packed over there. You can go. He was like, you said you was feeling me. Now you not? Me and so stupid, honey. She was like, just leave, Zac. He said, oh, this what we doing? Because, she was dressed up like she was about to go on a date, right? And she said, she was like, you could have just told me. Child, Zac wasn't about to tell you nothing because him and Karen playing this game, and I don't know what kind of game it is, but it's really ridiculous because she's saying she don't want him, but she really do. He's saying he done with her, but he really not. And just bringing people in as collateral damage, and that would be you and Aaron. I'm just telling you what it is, child. So anyway, she was like, you could have just told me. And he's just looking at her because, they ain't gonna never answer no questions. But she getting ready for her date. Honey, I don't like how you got that ponytail sitting up there. It's not looking right. I like you with your cute little ball. But okay, girl, set yourself off. So she's getting ready. So Zac said, didn't I tell you? No, he said, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. She was like, you thought you was going to hurt me? He was like, come on, Fatima. You said you was feeling me. Now I come here and you going to act like you not? She was like, I said I wasn't sure. He was like, give me a break. You know what? She said, you know what? You got your break. Break your ass out the door with them bags. Baby, that's a black woman response if I ever heard one, honey. We going to put some stuff together in the same sentence with what you should be doing. Honey, we love it. So as Zac getting his bags and getting on out the door, right, her little date comes or whatever. So Zac is like, this what we doing? So this dude tries to introduce himself, right? So Zac was like, oh, I know who you are. You look like a ball player. You lucky I chose the streets or you wouldn't even have a job. Not you lucky I chose the streets. Child, I just love his personality. Anyway, Fatima's like, you know what? Just I want you to go. So Zac was kind of making fun of like the clothes he had on, and Fatima was like, that jacket costs more than what you have in those little bags. I'm like, oh child, honey. So he's getting all up in his feelings because she's about to go on a date. Knowing she on a bit more like that boy than the man in the moon, honey, and it shows when she gets back. Calvin busted up in Maurice's house. They sharing the home or whatever. That they roommates. I wouldn't deal with Maurice. He too messy boots, child. So he comes in pissed, and he blamed him for what's going on with Jacoby and him being over there. So Maurice was like, oh, he was over Sabrina's house? Oh, tell me all about it, because y'all know he messy. So he starts telling him or whatever, and he tells them that the reason he's probably over there is because you called and told her that I was sleeping with some dude in the spare bedroom. So he tells him, I went over there unannounced. He was like, well, why would you do that? Honey, because that's what they do. They always coming up and through your house unannounced. It's ridiculous. He was like, well, why would you do that? So then as he's asking him that, he was like, man, just why do I even like her? So Maurice was like, because she's special. And I don't mean in another way. I mean like special education. Not special education. Shut up, Maurice. Anyway, so Calvin is repeatedly asked why he likes her. And then he decides he's going to go back over there. Child, a mess. Karen hears a knock at the door and it's Aaron. Honey, these men just coming in and out. Okay, Karen. These men just be showing up. Don't know who gonna be over there. You might get your feelings hurt showing up to somebody's house. So Aaron looks like he's drunk. Child, not the pastor, honey. Oh, child. So Karen was like, did you drive here? And he's like, yeah, not drinking and driving. Not the DUI for the parishioner, child. So he's like, this is a lot to deal with. Okay, this was my thing. So you were cool when your wife committed suicide in her shop, but Karen getting sexed up drives you to drink? Oh, okay. Who is writing this, child? So Karen tries to make him some coffee, right? But he doesn't want any coffee, honey. He wants a little taste of something else. He fumbling all around, getting naked, doing all this bad acting, this bad drunk acting. You know how when people want to pretend like they're drunk, like when you're little and you have a sip of something and you start acting like, I'm just so drunk. That's the way Aaron was doing. And I was like, boy, if you don't stand up, honey, black people don't be doing drunk people don't be doing all that what you doing, child. Goodbye. So she was like, I need you to have some coffee. So he keeps saying he promises that he can do better than Zac, right? So now he want to prove what he can do because y'all know he was holding out and he didn't want to give Karen none. So I guess he's thinking that's the reason why she went over there. But now it just happens, honey. Sometimes we just go back with that ex. Sometimes it just happens. So anyway, she's offering the coffee. He's rejecting it, okay? Tell me why, y'all. I really thought that this man was going to get in the car and drive while drunk, and it was going to be a whole different type of storyline, okay? So she's like, please, just sit down. Let's just talk about it. He's like, no, I feel embarrassed. I feel crazy. I'm just crazy. I'm just going to go. I feel stupid. And like I said, I just knew he was going to drive, honey, but he let her talk him off the ledge, and he sat on down, right? So he said, listen, I'm sorry for driving you to Zac, and then he starts crying. Child. Whew, Aaron got so much emotions, honey. He got so many emotions. I don't know what we gonna do with them all. Fatima back from her date with old dude in his faux Sachi shirt. Boy, what are you wearing? So she tells him, he's like, I'm gonna call you. She was like, oh yeah, just call me in a week. Not a week. Girl, if you don't call Zac. So technically y'all weren't exclusive when he did the deed with the ex. So we could work through this, because when you first start dating people, honey, they be dating other people. I'm not stupid. I know when I first start talking to somebody, they may be talking to other people. They may be sexing other people. But when I say I'm yours and you're mine, then you need to lock it down, honey. Chastity belt it is. Child, you need to lock that down. That's me and me only. So she's up there having a glass of wine, right? And she sees Zac left some money. And he left the alarm for the truck. So she calls him. She's like, listen, you left your money. He's like, listen, I left that because you let me stay. She was like, but you said you didn't even want to stay here. Child, Zac just dropping off brown envelopes everywhere. Zac, get your own spot so you don't have to keep dropping off money to every lady you meet. Boy, anyway, and he left that money on purpose. You know how you always try to leave something behind so you have an excuse to go back? Child, I used to do it all the time. Leave a sock, leave a shoe, leave one of my scrunchies, my favorite scrunchie, and I got to go back, okay? Ain't no other way. So she was like, listen, I wanted you to stay here. And he was like, nah, I don't want to owe another woman anything. I don't want to owe anybody anything. So she said, listen, I wanted you to. He said, okay, we're even. He was like, 2 things I'm not going to do is go back and forth. And again, who wrote that? Child, a man in the middle of an argument is not about to say, 2 things I'm not going to do is go back and forth. Child, goodbye. So she said, well, you do want to because you answered. So then he said, why you ain't with old boy? I thought he had some stamina. She was like, don't play with me. That would have pissed me off, because why you acting like I'm about to sleep with this man? Boy, quit playing with me. I don't just sleep with everybody that I go on a date with. Are you serious? So they keep going back and forth. And she said, his money will be taped to the door. He's like, no, don't take my money to the door. Somebody's going to take it. She's like, well, come get it. He said, we still talking about the money? See, that's what I'm talking about. Men always trying to deflect and lure you in. And the way he looking, oh, child, I don't know if I could be strong. Listen, y'all, I try to keep, with what I say. But, honey, if you're looking like Zac, honey, I might just have to go around the block one more time. I'm just saying, honey, I got to speak my speech. I got to tell my truth. So he was like, Fatima, have you ever been confused? So Fatima's sitting on the other line like, yeah, but you don't need to be. So he explains what happened between him and Karen. He said, listen, I went to talk, hug her, and then she fell on my penis. Basically, that's the zhuzh of it all. Fatima wasn't feeling that, even though I know she really still likes him, right? She was like, just come get your money. It's going to be on the door. Hangs the phone up. Over at Sabrina's house, Jacoby's still there. Honey, I would have to call 911 on him because he's not listening. I would have to call the laws, okay? Talking about he needs to apologize. Dude, she asked you to leave. So she keeps telling him she isn't interested, right? So he keeps saying, I really like you. So then she opens the door and Tyler Perry has another surprise because Calvin is outside the door. Okay. She opens the door. Calvin's there. Calvin tells the dude to leave. So then Calvin's like, Sabrina, sit down. And she's like, oh, honey. And even me, I was like, oh, not a little bass in your voice. Okay, let me sit down, child. Tell me off, child. So he tells her off about the way things have been going or whatever. And he's like, please tell me everything that's wrong with me. And she's like, nothing is wrong with you. It's me. And he was like, well, why do you keep treating me like this? And I was like, oh, man, he really is a nice guy. Sabrina, you better get it together, honey. If you don't like the light skins, just say that. Girl, sitting up there treating that boy that way. Anyway, he said, tell me everything that's wrong with me. She's like, nothing, it's me. She said, I was told that you were on meth. Girl, you just listen to anything all up and through the streets. He said, you let people sway you? And that's how you feel about me? He was like, I'm done. Boy, you've been done for the past 3 seasons. Are you going to be done or are you done? Like, what is going to go on? Zac ain't got no particular place to go, honey, or nowhere to sleep. So he back at Fatima's house pretending to get this money off the door, okay? Getting this shmoney. So he's like, can I come in? Now, you already know he thinks she gonna break. She ain't Karen, okay? She is not Karen. Karen talk a good game, but she ain't really about that life. Fatima is the exact opposite. She don't do all that talking, and she about what she say she about. And that's just what I see. So anyway, he asked to come in, and he's like, listen, I want you and I want Karen. She was like, if you don't get I know you fucking lying. Boy, if you don't go. He said, you are everything I could ever want, but Karen is something that I want too. He doesn't understand how someone can make him feel like crap and he could love them so much. Honey, ask any woman, because we done been through it several times, okay? I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You know how you talking to this dude. You know he ain't no good for you. He treats you like crap. He make you feel like crap, but you love him anyway. Honey, I'm going to stick beside him. I'm just saying, that's just how we do. So he telling her that. And she just sitting there looking crazy. And she was like, I wish I could answer that. If I could, then you wouldn't even be here. Oh, child, this is just a mess. And she was like, you make me feel stupid, dumb, embarrassed. And I was just telling, and she didn't want to finish. She was like, telling what? Telling who? Finish. You never finish. So then she was like, I was just telling Andy that I met somebody and it could possibly work. And he was like, so it couldn't now? Zac, just go. She was like, you need to leave. And baby, she put him out. So you're going to sleep in the truck tonight, okay? This is what I was thinking. You got all this money, boy. If you don't go get yourself a room, honey, an Airbnb, something. See, this is what Karen be talking about. You don't use your thinkers, honey. Put your thinking cap on. Turn your brain on, honey. Go get you somewhere to sleep. Want to get back up in there with Fatima? It ain't happening right now. She's still mad. Just give her a few days, honey. 3 to 5 business days, and you might can get back in there. Over at Andy's house, she on my last nerve, okay? The ex-wife screaming as she goes out with handcuffs. This ain't over. This ain't a girl. Go. Girl, gone, honey. So then the cops are like, she's like, can I see him? He's like, yeah, you can come in. She's like, I don't want to see him all bloody. The cop was like, he's not bloody. Then Andy goes in and goes, and scene. And we got to wait till next week. Child, what y'all think she saw when she went in there to look at him? Do you think he was just stitched up? Do you think he was just laying there lifeless? Do you think he was sitting up in the bed ready to explain what all's happening? Like, I'm just confused as to what she's looking so surprised about. And I saw the medic just walk out like nothing was happening. So did she patch him up, honey, and like a patchwork quilt and put him back on the bed? Like, what do y'all think happened? Child, comment down below and let's get into it, child. I think this season might be good because it's a lot of little storylines in between the storylines. But we're gonna have to get Aaron some drunk acting classes. Child, as always. Y'all know I love to comment with y'all and have a good kiki. So comment down below. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.